So the other day I did a video on this big lot of 19 retro games that I got from Secret Castle Games and Toys, and every single cartridge was filthy, the pins were nasty, and that's not what I expected. I figure, you know, a company that sells retro games mostly, that they're gonna at least do the bare minimum, you know, and clean the stuff that they sell, but apparently not. And I did see a lot of comments that were like, hey, well, you know, the most important thing is if the games work. And I do agree. You know, these are old games. I don't expect like perfect condition. I just expect them to be cleaned and tested and, you know, guaranteed that they work. Not just, you know, them blindly sending garbage that they take in as trade-ins. You know what I mean? Like, if I ran a retro game store, I'd be kind of picky with this stuff. And I know plenty of retro game stores are. But some, they just want to deal with bulk and just take everything in and not bother with it and just sell it, right? And that's kind of, you know, lesson learned here. I'm not going to be buying from companies like this anymore. But I did clean every single one of these games except for this one, because I just want to real quick show you guys how I clean these games. Then we're going to test each one real quick and see if they boot up. I did not want to plug these into my systems with the conditions they were in, but first off, as far as the shell goes, if the label isn't like heavily damaged or cut, I just take Novus #1 and spritz it real quick on both sides. Then I take a microfiber cloth and I wipe it up. That is the first thing. So when I did that to every single one of these carts, holy crap. Yesterday when I, you know, took these carts out one by one from the package, my hands were feeling sticky and gross. Just the way it was. Every single one of these cartridges were nasty. This Novus #1 is not going to damage the label. If you use alcohol, it may damage the label. If the label is already like scuffed or like torn and you let it sit, it may damage the label. I would only use this if the label's not already messed up. But it does a good job getting the plastic clean and any gunk off of it. Now, like if in here it was all nasty, I would just take, you know, little toothbrush and scrub in there while it's moist with that Novus #1 plastic clean and shine. I love this stuff. But the next step, and every single one of these that I opened, they were all different condition as far as how the pins were, but every single one of them had like white residue on the inside. It was kind of weird. I don't know what that was, if maybe they all came from the same lot of somebody trading them in, and or maybe it's just the location they were in, the environment. I have no freaking idea, but they all had like a weird white residue on the inside bottom. Oh, and you can even see some here. Like maybe somebody used something to clean these and it left this weird white residue. It's all up in there. Every single cartridge, NES, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64 had this white residue. So maybe they are cleaning it, the pins, with something they're not supposed to. Maybe they're using something nasty. I don't freaking know, but it definitely should not be like that. That's just, you know, an observation I made. Now the pins on this are not crazy bad, but if there's like a lot of stuff on it, I'll use like a pink eraser and go over it. This one I really don't need to, but I'll do that. You can use alcohol on the pins. I typically don't use alcohol. I will use like contact cleaner and a toothbrush. I like these toothbrushes that have like rubber pieces in the middle, but I'll do this. This isn't even 100% necessary, but I'll take this like contact cleaner, quick drying WD-40, and I will spray it on there. Bam. That's a lot on there. It's quick drying though. It's fine. It's not going to damage it. But I'll go ahead and do that real quick on both sides. And I did this to every single one of these cartridges. Got that contact cleaner on there and just went over it. And everything should be good. I'm pretty confident most of these games should boot up just fine. Now, as far as the shell goes, it does have that nasty white stuff in there. Like I said, I have no idea what the hell any of that is, but every single one of them had it. Like I said, I don't know why, but I definitely want to clean that out. Get that all out. But yeah, I didn't want to put these into any of my systems and risk getting any of this weird gunk. Some of these games had like dried syrup, period blood, nastiness. I don't freaking know, man. There's a lot of weird crap on the inside of these cartridges, but now every single one of them is fairly clean, and I'm gonna reassemble this one real quick, and we're gonna pop them in one by one as fast as possible and see if they boot up. Okay, since this lot was mostly NES games, I figure I'm gonna start with that. I'm gonna be using the Tiny NES, which does have genuine Nintendo chips in it. Reason I'm using this is because it's gonna be more reliable instead of using a front loader where it's not as reliable. I don't wanna be like, oh, the game doesn't work. This, if the game is good, it's gonna boot up the first time. I'm gonna use real Super Nintendo, real N64 though, for testing those games. But let's just pop them in, see if they boot up, and just keep going. Legend of Zelda, audio's on. I'm not gonna like start the games. We're just gonna see if they boot up. If they boot up, we're good. I'm pretty damn sure. Ninja Turtles boots up just fine. Manhattan Project, same thing. We're good. I'm pretty damn sure, like, if I didn't clean these, at least a few of them, there was no way they were gonna boot up. Turtles 1 boots up just fine. Kung Fu, because yeah, some of these, the pins were so freaking bad, dude. This one is one of the scary ones. It's broken on the inside, so the pins kind of move around. But Bart vs. Space Mutants boots up. Chip and Dale, I'm pretty sure this one's good. The pins weren't too crazy, but it did have the white residue. Every single one of these games had that white residue in it. Freaking nuts. Duck Hunt. Did I not get a good connection there? This one was pretty bad on the inside. This one had like really bad corrosion on the pins. Yeah, this one, man. This one, I cleaned it as best I can. I'm gonna give it another shot. Nope, we're getting nothing with Duck Hunt. That's unfortunate. Another really nasty one, Ninja Gaiden. Nothing with that one. These were all very thoroughly cleaned. I will try them on another console, just in case. But okay, Ninja Gaiden and Duck Hunt do not work yet. Zelda 2, fine. Batman, the video game, boots up just fine. Yonoid, good. The Adventures of Bayou Billy, we are good. So I'm gonna plug in another system and try these two games. These were the worst out of the entire lot as far as pin condition went. And this one overall, like condition of the case, you know, Bart versus the Space Mutants is pretty bad too, but this one had a lot of nastiness going on the inside. This one as well. Pins were like really badly corroded, especially higher up, had a lot of gunk on the inside. Unfortunate. Let me try another system. Okay, an actual front loader NES. Let's pop in Ninja Gaiden, see if it boots on this. And it does, so maybe it just does not want to make a connection with the pins on the Tiny NES, so I'm not going to fault that to the game not working. So that's a good thing, because this one does have a short pin connector. I can't show that, but on the front, the pins reach all the way to the bottom. On the back, they go up a little higher. So maybe the Tiny NES has difficulty touching the pins on those types of games. There's a few games on the NES that have pins like that on the games. But okay, this one doesn't have pins like that. They reach all the way to the bottom. So let's see with Duck Hunt. We got a flashing light. Duck Hunt is most likely a no-go. It's one of the worst conditioned ones. Had a lot of corrosion, but I'm gonna have to give up on that one. So out of all the NES games, one of them does not work. Duck Hunt. Let's move on to Super Nintendo. Okay, on to Super Nintendo. Chuck Rock, we only got 3 games. Super Nintendo Junior. Boots up just fine. Ken Griffey Jr.'s winning run. Awesome. And then Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past. This one had a little bit of corrosion on the left side of the pins. I believe I got that cleaned up very nicely, so I'm fairly confident it's gonna work. And it does. So let's move on to the final 2 Nintendo 64 games. So the 2 Nintendo 64 games, this one, Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest, the pins were horrible. I got them to the best condition I could, but they still look kind of bad. But let me try that one first. They're clean, but condition-wise, they don't look great. And this one had a lot of nastiness on the inside as well. This one might be a lost cause. No, it booted up. Took a couple shots and try it one more time. Okay, it works, but for how long? This one should be fine, I think. This one was kind of dirty, but this one's Major League Baseball, Ken Griffey Jr. There we go, booted up. So, hi, this is Ken Griffey Jr. So, out of this entire lot, I did have to spend some time thoroughly cleaning everything. The company, in my opinion, should have done that themselves. But unfortunately, you know, they don't. That's just the way it is. Don't care what anybody says. I ordered 19 games. Not a single one of them was cleaned. So that's not like, oh, they missed 1 or 2. No, they just didn't clean any of them. But yeah, we got 1 game that did not work. I guess I'll have to hit them up, see what they'll do. At least refund my, I think this was $11 or something like that. But there you go. People wanted to know. Appreciate y'all. Don't buy from, blindly buy retro games from companies like that. Have a good one. Bye.